with the Harinam group. So you have some questions?
Yes, we interview senior.
Does everyone understand English
Yes,
here?
yes.
Okay.
And first one, we'd like to encourage devotees to come and participate in Harinam Nagar Sankirtan. So
Yes.
come outside from temples, from homes, and so please enlighten about these topics.
Well, yeah, I'm very much encouraged when the devotees, instead of staying compact within the temple, they come out, and there's actually more potency. When you come out and chant in public, the more people, the better. And actually, when you bring people to Krishna consciousness, you become very dear to Krishna. So it's part of our preaching movement. Now, you asked me the question of when I first went on Harinam. It's a very interesting question to answer. That I was a new devotee. I joined the movement in 1971, which is probably before any of you were born, I think. So I joined the movement in 1971, and I put on a dhoti the first day. So it was a little embarrassing in the Western world to be wearing a dhoti. I think you know that, just going out in a dhoti the first time. And there were all my friends there in the same village. But the reason I did it so quickly is because I had just met Prabhupada. Originally, I never wanted to put a dhoti on or change my lifestyle. But when I met Srila Prabhupada, I experienced so much compassion and love from Prabhupada that compassion and love overwhelmed me, and I thought, I want to serve Srila Prabhupada for the rest of my life. So therefore, I shaved off all my hair, put on a dhoti, and went on Harinam the first day that I moved into the temple. And it was the most amazing experience I ever had, going out and chanting Krishna's names. And also at that time we distributed Back to Godhead magazines as part of the Harinam. So we would chant on the street corner and people would come up. And I just remember being in complete ecstasy, complete bliss from doing that Harinam. And from that day forward, whenever I distributed books, I wanted to have a Harinam party nearby to keep the atmosphere very pure. So we've done Harinam in many different places. South America, I was in South America, different countries for many years. And of course in India, with Srila Prabhupada, and then also in America in many, many different places. So Harinam is in our blood. I mean, it's Lord Chaitanya's movement. It's the Sankirtan movement. Sankirtan means congregational chanting, complete chanting, and the more people, the better. So that's my realization about Harinam, and I'm very happy to see you all doing Harinam. And I would, rather than them having Kirtan Melas, I'd like a Sankirtan Mela. If you can get all those people went to the Kirtan Mela in Mayapur, and you get them all out in the street, it would change the whole world. It'd be a really amazing experience. So I'm very thankful that you're all doing this and setting a good example, chanting Krishna's name, and I can see you're all happy.
Yeah.
Proof of the pudding is in the tasting, as they say, and you're all very, very happy persons and completely renounced from this material world. The more we chant, one of the reasons I come here to Govardhan, of course I'd like to do more Harinam here at Govardhan, but one of the reasons I come here to Govardhan is to get absorbed in Krishna's names. Many times you go into the temples and people are just talking about different things. So I like to come to a place where there's not so many people that talk to me, so I can just chant more japa. Usually on Ekadasi I chant 64 rounds a day, and this is a taste that I've developed by doing that. But by chanting congregationally, it's actually more powerful than japa. So next time we come, then we'll have some more congregational chanting. I'm just admiring what you're doing. So you have other questions, or?
Yes, if you would like to share what is the internal mood when you participate in Harinam Sankirtan, like outside going, what you meditate, maybe what you...
Well, what I usually meditate on when I'm at Harinam Sankirtan is praying to Krishna that the holy names will affect the people who are coming by. Because Harinam Sankirtan is for others as well as oneself. Of course, in Krishna consciousness, the more you give to others, the more you have yourself. It's like if you open up the storehouse of love of God and distribute everything, then you have more. Materially, things don't work like that. Like if you give everyone your money, you will have less money. But spiritually, if you give everyone Krishna consciousness, you have more Krishna consciousness. So I generally think about others when I'm out in Harinam. That I want that person to chant, and I'm praying to Krishna that within the heart of that person, you should give them a taste for chanting, attract them into the chanting, and start their devotional service. Because when they hear the chanting on Harinam, that's the Bhakti Lata Bij, because you're functioning under the direction of Krishna's pure devotee, Srila Prabhupada, and your spiritual masters. And you're able to implant that seed of devotion in people's hearts. And that will assure that ultimately the Bhakti Lata Bij will grow and pierce the coverings of the material universe and arrive at Krishna's lotus feet. So you're actually starting people on the path of devotional service, liberating them, because if they just hear the holy name or just imitate the holy name, not even knowing what it is, they become liberated, and eventually they'll go back to Godhead. It may take several lifetimes. I mean, one has to be patient. But you're liberating basically the whole universe. And not only, as Haridas Thakur describes, the animate living entities, or the human beings, but also the inanimate living entities like the trees, the creepers, the grass. They're all getting liberated by the Harinam chanting. So you're doing the best service. There is no better service to be done than chanting the holy names congregationally so people can hear.
Correct. Could you kindly tell a story, maybe some of your memories, very vivid, connected to some wonderful experience with Krishna consciousness?
Anything, Harinama Sankirtana, or any wonderful experience? Okay. I mean, I can tell some Prabhupada stories. I'll tell one Sankirtan story, Harinama Sankirtan story. We were having a big Harinam, there was a festival going on. And there was one man started walking past, and he said, "What are you putting in the air? I feel so happy." He thought we were burning marijuana or something. And then he was becoming ecstatic. He said, "Wow, feeling ecstatic, what are you doing?" And then he walked, because the atmosphere of the spiritual world expands wherever the Harinam performance is going on. Anywhere, whether it's here or anywhere, the spiritual world manifests itself. So as far as a story, I'll tell a story about Prabhupada. Once upon a time, many years ago, I was in charge of some temples in South America. We were distributing a lot of books. In the month of December, in the city of Caracas, Venezuela, the devotees distributed 35,000 Bhagavad Gitas, hardbound Bhagavad Gitas, in one city, in 1 month. And so I went to see Srila Prabhupada in Mayapur. This was in 1975. I went to see Srila Prabhupada in Mayapur, and I was explaining to Srila Prabhupada that we distributed 35,000 Bhagavad Gitas in 1 month, and Prabhupada's eyes opened wide. And then I pointed out the one devotee who had distributed 10,000 Gitas by himself. And Prabhupada said, "He has the mercy of Krishna." But the rest of us were experiencing some envy of him. Because I was thinking, I'm the temple president. You know, I got to get some mercy too. So then Srila Prabhupada understood that we were feeling envious, and he looked around. He said, "You all have the mercy of Krishna." But then he said, "But it's just like the gopis, you know, they're on a higher platform. They have more mercy." So Prabhupada was pointing out those devotees who go out and distribute and preach Krishna consciousness, distribute books and Harinam Sankirtan, they actually get the most mercy from Krishna. And that's the business of the Majjhima Adhikari. And the neophyte may not be doing that. They may be just ringing bells or staying in the temple and just having their kirtans in the temple. But the Majjhima Adhikari is always enthusiastic to go out and absorb others in the chanting of the holy names. And that's what you're doing. You're acting on the platform of Majjhima Adhikari. Of course, Uttama Adhikari, they just sit and chant, Hare Krishna, and they're in ecstasy. Later on, you'll experience that. But right now, go out and chant.